Hello, fellow Star Wars geeks. I am Ivan Krolo, as you can see from the name of my account, and I'm here to bring you another Star Wars comic book review, which is Star Wars Legacy Volume 2, Prisoner of the Floating World. Now, Star Wars Legacy is a pretty interesting book in terms of its name. The original Legacy comic book came out in 2006. It was written by John Ostrander. It's frequently called one of the best Star Wars, storylines or stuff ever made in Star Wars, ever done, period. And this is the second volume of it. And this is kind of where the naming is going to become a bit of a problem, because this is Volume 2. So I have no idea what the hell I'm going to call this video. Am I going to call it Star Wars Volume 2, Volume 1, Prisoner of the Floating? I don't know. But yeah, the naming of this thing is going to be a pain in the ass in the long run, I can already tell. Anyway, Star Wars Legacy Volume 2 takes place an unspecified amount of time after the original Legacy. The galaxy is pretty much... it's in a fragile piece because in the original Legacy, the Sith once again took control of the galaxy, but at the end, Cade Skywalker, the descendant of Luke Skywalker, he pretty much brought their whole empire down, and now the Galactic Republic is being restored. And there's basically kind of this new government that has three pillars, and this is pretty much the most interesting part of the storyline. The three pillars are the Fel Empire, the Jedi Order, and the Galactic Republic, and these three have made this joint government that is supposed to pretty much accommodate for everybody. And the first big project of this new government is to connect the Outer Rim to the core worlds, because this has always been an ongoing issue with within the Star Wars universe. The core worlds or the mid-rim planets are always the ones that get the most attention, and the outer rim worlds are always the ones filled with crime, poverty, slavery, and all that stuff. And what the new government wants to do is connect the outer planets with the core worlds by creating this whole new like space antenna thing. Like, I know it has a name, but I can't remember right now, so I'm going to call it the space antenna. And that's basically what they want to do. And this is probably, like I said, the most interesting part of the book, because all of these three people have a different way of dealing with things. The Galactic Republic feels that building this space antenna is a big waste of time. They want to, build armies and stuff and control kind of through military might and go after the Sith. You have the Empress of the Fel Empire, who wants to find more peaceful ways of, creating this new government, because no one thinks that this new government is going to last, because the last time the Republic was at peace was during the 100-year golden age of the Republic, that was like 1,000 years, before the prequel trilogy, and that was pretty much the best period the Republic was ever in. There were no Sith, there were no wars and stuff, everything was great, and after that, everything's gone to shit. They're just constantly new wars, the government is constantly being overthrown or something, and no one really thinks this new government can last. And that's really fascinating, that the characters in the universe are actually responding to the fact that they're pretty skeptical. Even the Jedi are kind of skeptical that this piece is going to last, because the Jedi have done this like 100 times since the Empire, the original Empire from the original films was destroyed. They rebuild the Republic, a bunch of shit goes down, then the Republic gets destroyed, then they rebuild it again, and everyone's pretty skeptical except the Empress of the Fel Empire, who's trying to remain positive, but it's really hard with all this skepticism around her to, she actually believes that this new government can last, and that's really, really fascinating. And I really like that there's already kind of foreshadowing to where things are going to go. The Galactic Republic has always kind of been iffy on the Outer Rim planets. They've always sort of just seen the Outer Rim planets as a means to an end. And if you don't believe me, go read Darth Bane, Path of Destruction. It pretty much shows what the Republic's relationship has always been to the Outer Rim. And say what you want about the Sith, but the Sith have always treated the Outer Rim planets right. They have always done right by them, and the Empress of the Fel Empire knows this, and she wants to destroy this influence the Sith have built over these past thousands and thousands of years over the Outer Rim. And I think that's all really, really fantastic. But this is only like... This is kind of like a subplot, but it's a really big part of the main story. The main story actually deals with Anya Solo. She is this descendant of Han and Leia. If you haven't read Star Wars Expanded Universe, they had 3 children, and one of them became like one of the predecessors of the Fell family, and I suppose the other kid went on to set up Anya Solo and stuff. And she is pretty much like Han Solo. She's pretty brash. She's a bit arrogant, and she lives on this like this piss hole of a planet. Like, it's a junkyard where it's kind of like Tatooine. That's the best way I can describe this planet. It's just a piss hole. It's like far, far out there in the outer rim. Like, no one comes to this place except bandits, criminals, and smugglers and stuff. And Anya Solo, she pretty much lives in this like junkyard where she finds stuff and sells it, for money just so she can stay alive. She has a ship of her own. And she is pretty much like Han Solo if he was like this teenage girl. She's pretty brash, she's kind of arrogant, but she does actually genuinely care about her friends. Like, she will risk her life to save her buddies. She's not a complete scumbag. She knows how to negotiate, and all that stuff's pretty good. Sorry the video's gonna break up here because Audacity is being a bitch again. I don't know what the hell's going on with this program, but the only real flaw of this book that I can honestly say is that the main plot is okay. It's not amazing. All the side stuff, like all the politics, all the stuff with the Sith and the Jedi. Oh, and I forgot to say about the Sith and the Jedi. Basically, everyone is acting gray. Like, there is no light side or dark side anymore. Everyone's kind of in between. And this is a good and bad thing because there's more balance in the universe and stuff. But the Sith are able to mask their presence from other Force users easily. Like, this one Sith infiltrates the government and he's acting like an Imperial Knight and stuff. And that's kind of an interesting idea that I've always seen that they should be, in between. But this book kind of disproves that and shows us that, yeah, being, balanced and stuff can be good sometimes. But at one point or another, you just have to pick a side and stick to it. And that's kind of what this whole theme between the Sith and the Jedi is going on here. And we don't really get to see the Jedi. It's more the Imperial Knights who are these gray Jedi. They don't really belong to any alignment in the Force. They sort of use light side and dark side, but they aren't really, good or bad. They're kind of in neutral, and that's always kind of my mentality been with the Force and Star Wars and stuff. Like I said, the main plot is basically that Anya Solo finds this lightsaber in her junkyard. She tries to sell it with her Mon Calamari friend Sook. His name is spelled S-A-U-K, and I don't know how the hell you say that. And there haven't been any video interviews, so I'm just gonna call him Sook. So she and her friend Sook try to sell this lightsaber. That gets her into trouble with the government, and the Sith, who's like posing as an Imperial Knight, wants his lightsaber back because he thinks that could somehow lead them to the real Imperial Knight, he's keeping a prisoner and stuff. And that pretty much gets her involved with all this galactic politics stuff. She basically goes from being an ordinary smuggler girl to becoming like this high-profile target. Now everyone knows about her. The Jedi know about her. The Galactic know about her, and the Fell Empire. They all know about her. And now she's pretty much suffered the same thing as Han. One day she was just this ordinary criminal, and now she's, in the Galactic spotlight, just like Han was. And I thought that was good. But the main plot is all right. It's not really anything new or really interesting. They don't really do anything that good with the characters that really makes me, engage in this whole, cat and mouse thing that's going on throughout most of the first arc. All the side stuff is amazing, and the main plot is okay. It's not bad, but it's certainly not great or anything. So that makes this kind of hard to rate for me, because I really love all the political stuff and all the Jedi stuff. With the Force, all that stuff's really good. I really like Anya Solo. I like Sook. He's this alien dude who is really good with tech, but he really sucks at fighting. Like, there's at one point in the storyline where he points this big ass gun at an Imperial Knight, and he's like, "Don't you hurt my friends." Anya tells him he can put it down, and he just says, "Oh, thank goodness, because I have no idea how the hell to use this thing." And that was pretty funny. And there are a few points like that where he acts kind of as the comic relief. He's kind of like Sokka from Avatar, where he kind of looks like a bumbling idiot, but he's actually kind of a genius with inventing stuff. And so Sokka fans should like him. But like I said, the main plot is nothing more than kind of a generic cat and mouse thing. Sure, Anya goes through a bit of a character arc where she realizes, it's not all about the job. You got to save the people important to you, and that was fine. All the characters were pretty good. None of them really blew me away, except the Sith guy, who's really interesting because he spent his whole life wearing this mask that kind of like disfigured and tortured him, and he has no real identity. He has no name, and at the end of this arc, he becomes like Darth Red. Darth Red Reed. His name is spelled W-R-E-D-D. I don't know how the hell you say that. Star Wars names are weird. But alright, so he becomes Darth Reed at the end. He's basically going to be, I think, the antagonist of this whole arc, and it's really interesting how he uses his anonymity as a weapon, because no one has ever seen this guy's face, so he can pretty much act like a spy, and he's the perfect spy for infiltrating the Republic and these installations, and that's exactly what he does. But he's pretty much blown his cover because he broadcasts to the whole galaxy who he is, and so that was kind of a dumbass move of him to show everybody his face. Like, why didn't he just put on a mask? But yeah, like I said, I really don't know what the hell to rate this comic book. Like, I want to give it a really high score, but again, the main arc thing wasn't really there. It really wasn't that. It wasn't a thing, like Ronan would say. It wasn't a thing that really, got me pumped and stuff. So I have to give Star Wars Legacy Volume 2, the first story arc, Prisoner of the Floating World, like a B+, somewhere around there. It's pretty good, but I wish the main arc, the main thing that ties it all together was better done, I guess. And that's really disappointing, but overall I really did, enjoy this thing. This is one of those books that while you're reading it, it's going to seem kind of boring and kind of meh, but once you really think about, all the subplots and stuff and all the themes that it explores, it's actually a pretty damn good book. And, yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it. I would say that you guys should check this out. I don't know when the trade is coming out for this thing. The first arc is like, I want to say 5 issues. Yeah, it's 5 issues. And I have no idea when the trade of this is coming out. The naming of these videos is probably going to be a pain in the ass because I still don't know what the hell to call this video. Or should I call it Star Wars Legacy Volume 2 Legacy? I don't know. But anyway, I'm rambling as I do at the end of every video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video of mine. I hope you guys come back for more in the future. And if you like this video, like the video, comment, or subscribe, or whatever. And tell me what you think about the book. Tell me what you think about the video. And if you have anything bad to say, please do. But please let it be constructive criticism. And don't just say, this video sucks. Because that's really goddamn annoying. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. And I'll see you later. Bye.